Magic. It's magic. Disney magic. Today I'm going to be talking about Disney, or more specifically, Tokyo Disneyland. Now there are two parks in Japan, two Disney parks. There's Tokyo Disneyland and there's Tokyo Disney Sea. I'm only going to talk about the first one today, Tokyo Disneyland. I've got a lot to say, so I figured I'd put them in two different videos, and they're both very different parks. So I'll just focus on Disneyland and then I'll do another video about Tokyo Disney Sea. Tokyo Disneyland was the first Disney park to be built outside of the USA. Both Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea are owned by the Oriental Land Company. In that company, they license the characters and themes from the Walt Disney Company. To get to the park is really easy. You can get the JR line from Tokyo Station to Maihama, which is the station for both Disney parks. From there, it's just a short walk to Disneyland, and a 2-day passport which gets you into both parks is probably the best ticketing option. It cost me 13,200 yen for that ticket, which is just under £100 or about 120 US dollars. Now in this video I'm not going to do many comparisons to other Disney parks because I've actually only ever been to Paris, Disneyland Paris, other than the ones in Tokyo. So I don't really have much of a frame of reference. But I will be talking about the rides, the food, the parades, and just the general theming of the park. So when it comes to food in Disney, there's loads of options, but you should expect to pay quite a lot of money. There's loads on offer. You can go to stalls if you want something cheaper and on the go. They do things like churros. They do a really good flavour, melon soda flavour. It was absolutely amazing. But they've got so many different flavours of churros, it's worth checking out. When it comes to actual sit-down meals, I really recommend going to the Queen of Hearts Banquet Hall, I think it's called. It's in Fantasyland. The theming inside that place is incredible. It really is like you've just stepped into Alice in Wonderland, and I think we ended up staying there for about an hour maybe, just sitting and appreciating what was around us. It's a really, really beautiful place. And the food that we got there was great as well. Just be careful what time you go, because we queued, I think the first time I went I maybe queued for about 30 minutes, but there was another time where I queued for over an hour. It really just depends on what time of the day you go and what time of the season, but as you become used to with Disneyland, it's always busy, never quiet. One of my favourite rides of all time is Thunder Mountain, and it doesn't disappoint. It's absolutely incredible. Now we're going on Big Thunder Mountain. We got a fast pass, which has got us pretty much right through. Oh, there it goes. So that'll be us in a minute. So yeah, we've pretty much
enjoying themselves. Oh my god, I want to say I hate roller coasters, but I don't want to like them. I don't, I'm just nervous.
So I think we're about to get on. Goodbye! Surprisingly, the queue was never that long. I think the longest that I queued for Thunder Mountain was about an hour. But when you compare that to the fact that some of the rides like Splash Mountain, you'll sometimes have to queue for 300 minutes, I think was the most that I saw, which is just ludicrous. So we did Big Thunder Mountain.
It was amazing.
So good. So good.
It was really long as well.
Really long. There was a point where I thought it was finishing. It wasn't.
And even I knew it wasn't finishing.
Thunder Mountain, absolutely brilliant, but surprisingly not my favourite ride in the park. I'll get to that later. But I also loved, as I mentioned, Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain was fantastic. Again, a really long ride and surprisingly creepy. I didn't realise how dark and sinister that ride was until I was on it. And yeah, it starts off super happy and colourful, and then it gets kind of weird, but really good fun. That final drop at the end where you drop as if you're going towards these big bushes and thorns, and It's a lot steeper than it looks from outside, but great fun. Another ride, I mean, I could talk about the rides for ages, but Pirates of the Caribbean. The only thing that disappointed me about Pirates of the Caribbean was the queuing system. Hi, it's Ben and Alison.
Hi.
We're gonna go on Pirates of the Caribbean.
It looks amazing.
It looks so different from the Paris one. The queuing system in Paris is really immersive. The theming is spectacular. The queue for Pirates of the Caribbean is actually one of my favourite parts of the ride in Paris because it's so cool and so detailed. Whereas here, not really. But once it gets started, it's amazing. And they've also had the revamp where they've put in the Johnny Depp mannequins or robots or whatever you call them.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. It is true, I am a pirate, and a bloody good one. That is a bad one. Dig up me.
Another amazing dark ride, obviously, is the Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion! The Haunted Mansion! The Haunted Mansion! Haunted Mansion! Oh wait, you can't see it. Is that it there? There we go! Hey! It was great. There's a really great sequence where you go out into the graveyard and the train tips you back and you look up at the stars and you can see the trees. It's brilliant, really beautiful. But when they retheme it for Halloween, it's a completely different ride. It's brilliant. It's kind of the story of Nightmare Before Christmas. All the characters are there. Really, really cool. Now, my favourite ride in the whole park surprised the hell out of me. So basically, this ride I went on not really expecting much, expecting it to just be a ride that I'd forget instantly. What ended up happening was I went on the ride and decided I have to go back on this again and went straight back on, and I can't count how many times I've been on it now. That ride was Winnie the Pooh, and oh my god, it's just a really nice ride. The kind of thing that no matter how many times you look at the footage, you probably won't appreciate it as much as you do when you're actually in the ride. It's trackless, which I've never been on a trackless ride before, where, I mean, it's just as it sounds. There's no track. It just feels like you're being led around a room. I don't know how they do that. It must be magnets or something, but I don't know. Magic. It's magic. It's Disney. Disney magic. I'm really actually kind of sad that a show that I went to see when I first went to Disney Tokyo doesn't exist anymore. It was called Mini Oh Mini, and it was brilliant. It was good fun. Songs, dances, all the characters would come out. It was really good. They had some fantastic singers, fantastic dancers, and it was really cool. Really good show. But sadly, they don't do that anymore. I love the Electric Light Parade. That's amazing. Everything about it, the soundtrack, the lights, the effects, the fact that it's done in the darkness, it's just great. Really, really cool parade. They also do, well, they do the fireworks at the end of the night, but as well as that, they do a show on the castle, at the castle. Basically, it's like loads of projections onto the castle itself. Well, you get some special effects, some characters popping out here and there. So it's really impressive. So yeah, big plus to the end of night shows. If you go, you have to go and see them. They're great fun. As I'm sure you can tell, Tokyo Disneyland is a great park. Prepare for it to be very busy, make sure to get in early to get your fast passes, and if you plan on buying food, it's going to be very expensive. Now, whilst I enjoyed the times I spent here, I wouldn't say that it's a must-do while in Tokyo, especially if you've already been to another Disney park. But if you do go, you're gonna have a great time, regardless of what age you are. So that was my Tokyo Disneyland video. My next video is going to be Tokyo Disney Sea. It's probably going to be a long video. I've got many opinions about Tokyo Disney Sea, and I mean, I went there, it's 11 or 12 times that I went there. So yeah, that's my next video, but thank you for watching this one. Bye.